Eleanor Whitlock's life had become a mission of atonement and purpose. Her twins, Clara and Samuel, were gone, their pain now replaced by eternal peace. But 12 children remained, their lives saved by Eleanor's ultimate sacrifice. These children were marked by the demon, targeted by forces of darkness, and it was now her sacred duty to find and protect them. The first child on her list was Amelia Carter, a 7-year-old girl from a small town several hours away. Amelia had been abducted weeks ago, and her family, a humble farming couple with 3 other children, had no resources to pay the ransom demanded by her kidnappers. The police had given up, and whispers in the town spoke of something far darker, a satanic cult operating in the shadows, preying on vulnerable children. Eleanor read the family's tearful plea in the local news and knew she had to act. Eleanor arrived in the town under the guise of a wealthy philanthropist offering to help. She met with Amelia's parents, who were gaunt and weary from sleepless nights and worry. "I will pay the ransom," Eleanor assured them, her voice steady despite the storm of emotions within. "And I will bring her home." Her words brought tears to the mother's eyes. "We can never repay you," she said. "You don't have to," Eleanor replied, squeezing the woman's hand. "Just pray that I'm not too late." To ensure her success, Eleanor hired a small team of mercenaries. They were skilled men who claimed to be motivated by justice and the promise of a generous payout. But Eleanor, hardened by her encounters with the demon, sensed an undercurrent of greed and darkness in them. Still, she had no choice but to rely on their expertise. Through her contacts, Eleanor tracked the kidnappers to an abandoned factory on the outskirts of the town. Her mercenaries infiltrated the building, reporting back grim news. Amelia was alive, but the kidnappers were preparing to hand her over to a satanic cult that would perform a ritual sacrifice at midnight. The mercenaries urged Eleanor to wait until the handoff was complete, hoping to ambush the cultists during the exchange. But Eleanor refused. "We can't let her be taken," she said. "If we fail, they'll disappear, and she'll be lost forever." Reluctantly, the mercenaries agreed. The raid began just after dusk. Eleanor and her team stormed the factory, catching the kidnappers off guard. The sight of Amelia, bound and crying, gave Eleanor a surge of determination. She fought alongside the mercenaries, her aim steady and her movements sharp despite the fear clawing at her heart. But as the battle raged, Eleanor realized the mercenaries were hesitating. Their leader, a man named Colton, turned to her with a chilling smile. "The cult's offering us more than you ever could," he said. "Power, wealth, immortality. Why die for a lost cause?" Eleanor's blood ran cold as the mercenaries turned against her. They subdued the remaining kidnappers and prepared to deliver Amelia to the cult themselves. Desperate, Eleanor confronted Colton. "You don't understand what you're dealing with," she said. "I've seen what lies on the other side. It's nothing but suffering and torment." "Then you should have stayed out of this," he sneered. Before he could harm her, one of the kidnappers, an older man with weary eyes, intervened. He had been silent during the chaos but now stepped forward. "We were desperate," he said. "We never wanted to hurt her. We didn't know they'd do that." He turned to his comrades. "We can't let them take her." The other kidnappers, shamed and fearful, nodded. Together, they turned on the mercenaries, giving Eleanor the opening she needed. The battle was fierce. Eleanor fought with a ferocity she didn't know she possessed, her strikes driven by her promise to protect the children. She bore injuries, cuts, bruises, but refused to yield. The kidnappers, though untrained, fought with desperation, determined to redeem themselves. One by one, the mercenaries fell. Colton was the last, his face twisted in anger as Eleanor disarmed him and delivered a final blow. The factory fell silent, save for Amelia's soft cries. Eleanor rushed to her, cutting her bonds and pulling her into her arms. "It's over," Eleanor whispered, holding the trembling child close. "You're safe now." As dawn broke, Eleanor returned Amelia to her grateful family. Though battered and weary, she found solace in the child's smile and the parents' tearful gratitude. "You saved her," Amelia's mother said, hugging Eleanor tightly. Eleanor nodded, though her heart was heavy. She knew this was just the beginning. The darkness that had taken root in the world was vast, and the fight ahead would only grow harder. But as she left the town, a sense of purpose renewed her. She had saved one child. 11 more awaited, their lives hanging in the balance. And Eleanor, a mother forged in the crucible of loss and redemption, would stop at nothing to protect them.